what's going on out there tonight and IE Network land? You know what time it is when it's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You know it's time for the Benchwarmers podcast exclusively on the IE Network on YouTube. That's right, YouTube. Of course, the man himself, your host, James Acevedo, along with my co-host, Evan Hollywood, who should be joining us very shortly. By the way, thank you all for tuning in and watching this extraordinary program. You can like, comment, and subscribe this show, please, and tell a friend to tell another friend. Share this, to your friends so they can know to join in, to tune into the only sports show that tells it like it is and makes it fun at the same time. And if you want to make any money donations, you can on Cash App is the IE Network, if I'm not mistaken. It's the IE Network on Cash App. You can also do the super chat on here on the IE Network. My Cash App is Jimmy Ace Cash, and Heaven Hollywood's Cash App is Heaven Hollywood. Very self-explanatory. So with that being said, let's get the show going. Well, let's get going with let's talk about quickly with the world of baseball. Once again, start off with my Yankees. I mean, my Yankees have been. Last time we talked last week, they're still winning series, which is very important. Last time before last night, as of right now they're playing against the Texas Rangers in that brand new ballpark that opened last year when no one could go into it because of the pandemic. But now people are allowed to go in there now, and I think it's called Global Field or something like that, some sort of company, some bank or something, and it's a very nice ballpark. Of course, anybody that watched the playoffs last year, they had the World Series as a neutral site over there when it was the Rays versus the Dodgers. They lost yesterday's game with their ace, Garrett Cole, on the mound. Definitely one of his worst performances of the year. But other than that, they've been winning series. But the series before this that started last night against the Rangers, they won 2 out of 3 against the Orioles. They should have had a sweep, really. They were up 4-0 in that first inning. And they just, what's his name? Montgomery didn't have a good game. But, and then the series before that, I'm trying to remember who it was that they faced. I'm trying to remember who it was, but they won 2 out of 3 of that one too. I think it was the Nationals, if I'm not mistaken. They took 2 out of 3 after losing the first game. But I think it was that Orioles. That is a good question. But anyway, long story short, they even though they've been winning series, it's like there's still issues. I mean, they've been winning by the skin of their teeth. It helps to face an Oriole team that's not really that great. Although this year they only what, like, they're 5-4 against them or whatever it is this year, which is usually that's not the case in the other years. But Orioles are actually playing a little better than they usually have in the past couple of years. But it's just and then with Stanton being on the shelf again, oh, what a shock! Giancarlo Stanton, or whatever name he wants to be called this year. He's on the shelf, and of course, it couldn't come at a worse time when he was actually, finally hitting at a consistent basis. He was actually playing better than he's been lately, and then he falls apart. Then you have Hicks. You have Aaron Hicks, who's going to be on the shelf for a while, and it's just there's always something. This team is never a complete team for them to finally. They're kind of like the Brooklyn Nets, except they don't have an all-star in every position. It's like just when you think they get all together, there's always a couple of guys that go down at the worst time, especially when a guy like Giancarlo Stanton was getting hot. So it's just a shame. But I mean, okay, they're 4 games above 500. Whoop-de-doo, as Archie Bunker would say. But if you were to ask me today, oh, hey, Jimmy Ace, do you think they're going to go far in the playoffs this year? If this was October right now, I say no. They'd be lucky to get out the first round in the division series, to be honest. Matter of fact, they don't even deserve right now to win the division. And they're only like 2 or 3 games out of the division. The Red Sox are still in first place in the division. So it's just inconsistency with them. Although they've been winning, it's just I don't know. It's not like wow, they really are really playing complete games. As far as pitching and hitting at the same time and playing well on the field. As well as as far as fielding wise and hitting in certain hitting situations. They just it's just something missing. It's just something is missing. If you're a diehard Yankee fan like me, and if you don't see that, then you're just looking at it at Coke bottle Yankee glasses, and you're just waving your Yankee pom poms. Say, oh yeah, we're gonna go, we're doing great, and we only could go up from here. I mean, just the other day, we went our highest point of the season as far as being 5 games over 500. But even with that, it's just like, yeah, it's okay, but they still haven't been hitting at the same time. The team, as a team, they're not really great, team average wise, hitting, and to be fair, it's like that all across baseball. Really, most of these baseball teams ain't hitting well. I don't know if it has to do with the way I think a part of it is the way baseball is now, unfortunately, where everything is hitting a home run or nothing else, and a part of it I think is because the hangover of the pandemic. I think it has something to do with it too. I don't know. I mean, last week we had there was an issue in the Yankee team where a couple of their coaches had to go quarantine because they had tested positive for COVID. The pitching coach in the Yankees and a couple of their other parts of the coaching staff, along with actually what's his name, Torres. He got Gleyber, Gleyber Day, Gleyber Torres. He got touch a little COVID. So, it's not one thing, it's another. It's always something with this team. But I'm trying not to make a big deal only because it's still early. I mean, they're only, like I said, they're only like a few games out of first place. It's not like, oh man, they're 10 games out and they're 10 games under 500 or something like that. It's not to that extreme. So I'm not going that crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, as I look at the standings right now on my trusty computer, as of right now, they're in fourth place, 22-19, 3 games over 500, 2.5 games behind, which is not bad. I mean, the third place Rays is only a half game up on us. The Blue Jays are full game up on us at a game and a half out of the Red Sox, and the Red Sox are 25-17, which I think a lot of people are surprised by that. Then it makes me think, did they tank purposely last year just to get a draft pick? Because they knew that they were getting a Carrera back, or what's his name, Alex Cora back as their manager, and they tanked purposely just to get a draft pick. I mean, that's not, I'm just putting out there allegedly. I'm not trying to say that's what happened, but it's funny how they tanked it kind of last year. Not that the team was great. I mean, they didn't have Mookie Betts on the team, and a few other players were gone. But see, it's funny how this year all of a sudden they woke up and now they're 25-17. 8 games over 500. I just find that fascinating. But give it more time. Once we're only a couple of weeks from Memorial Day. That's when people say, "Oh, that's your high watermark to see how a team is at a certain point of the year when it's 25% of the season already played. So it's still 75% after the fact and after 2 weeks from now. So it's still a lot of baseball to be played. The only way you're gonna get a little more concerned is if there's a lot more injuries, and now you're talking about the teams like 10 games under or something like that, and in last place. And then you could say, oh wow, all hands on deck. But again, it's just this team is just, I don't know, just something missing. It's just there's not a lot of excitement. It's just blah. I don't know, it's just blah. I mean, I'm there for my team through thick and thin. Don't get me wrong, but it's just blah. It's just blah. Just like the sport is blah. If you're an outsider looking in, if you're not a diehard baseball fan like me, you're not really caring about baseball. Hey, let me keep it real. I don't watch every pitch of every game of the Yankees, and even so, I go like, I'll check it later, or I'll check the highlights, because it's just the way the sport is. But I've talked about that 10 billion times, so let me just move on from there. So last time we talked about last week about Albert Pujols, getting cut by the Angels, and was that did they do it in a respectable way? Blah blah blah. That's if you missed that, check it out on the IE Network when you finish watching this show. But it was reported a couple of days ago he actually agreed to a deal. The Dodgers actually claimed him and now he's part of the Dodgers. Now, the funny thing about it is he's not going to be an everyday player. He's going to be a bench player, which is funny because the Angels presented this same situation to Albert Pujols while he was still on the Angels. So it's like, okay, so why didn't you not accept it with the Angels and you get cut, but you accept it with the Dodgers unless you got desperate and you just want to try to get one more championship because you know that the Dodgers are a good team? I think it's a little of both. I think he felt a little slighted, and baby, I like I said last week, I think it's a little ego that he felt like what, I'm gonna be on the bench? Are you crazy? I'm Albert Pujols. You know what I mean? I'm a future first ballot Hall of Famer. But he didn't check his ego at the door, and they were like, okay, peace out. We got Ohtani, doing his thing, and then we have I forgot who else that's playing DH. Ohtani, I guess, plays DH when he's not pitching or whatever. So Albert Pujols was the outsider looking in, and it's just funny to me. I think he fell out on the Angels, and that's why he didn't accept being a bench player, and that's why he had no hesitation going across down to LA and be a guy on the bench, which is like, and to me, I don't know what happened because I saw something that the Cardinals had a chance of maybe getting him, which would have been dope because he would have signed with the Cardinals, the team he started with, and I think that would have been a great way to end his career. Just play your last season with the Cardinals, and that would have been dope. Although I found out on the Dodgers schedule, the Dodgers do make a trip to St. Louis, so the Cardinal fans are going to see him one last time, and the Dodgers are going to play him somehow. They won't start him or something, maybe a pinch hit, for the pitcher or something like that. But it's just funny to me how he didn't accept that role with the Angels, but he quickly did with the Dodgers. And like I said, it's a little bit of both. I think once he got humbled after being cut. I think he was like, look, he don't want to leave just yet. He want to at least have some sort of farewell tour in a sense, and that's why he went to the Dodgers. And his family, I think he has a house already in LA, in the LA area, so he didn't want to just move up out of nowhere and go somewhere. Although he could afford to have an apartment, but I guess he didn't want to be away from his family. So it makes sense. We have to remember these baseball players are human beings just like you and me, believe it or not. So yeah. So matter of fact, he contributed. He actually came in the game yesterday. He actually played in the game yesterday. Went 1 for 4 for RBI, for one RBI, and he actually helped the Dodgers winning game. So he contributed. So it's weird seeing him in a Dodger blue uniform, just like it was weird to see him in the Angels uniform, even though it was a similar red, but not as similar as the Cardinal uniform. By the way, I didn't get to go through the stats, Albert Pujols' career stats, by the way, which is very, very fascinating stats. I don't go into stats too much. When it comes to a player like Albert Pujols, who's definitely going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, this is somebody I definitely have to bring up when it comes to stats. He's 13th all-time in hits as we speak. And this is not counting yesterday when he had a hit. So right now he has 3,254 hits, which is 13th all-time. He's 5th all-time in home runs with 667, not too shabby. 5th in doubles all-time, 669. 5th in extra base hits, 1,352. And this is a extraordinary stat, which a lot of people don't think of. He's 2nd all-time in RBIs with 2,112. And why do I say that's fascinating? Because number one is Hank Aaron. And Hank Aaron's record of RBIs, it looked like it was never going to be broken. Not that Pujols is going to come close to it, because I think, if I'm not mistaken off the top of my head, I think Hank Aaron has a couple of hundred more RBIs in his career, which is the all-time record. His other great resume added to his resume, to his career, Albert Pujols. He was the 2001 NL Rookie of the Year, 3-time NL MVP in 2005, 2008, and 2009. So he had a back-to-back and a belly-to-belly. 10-time All-Star, 6 Silver Slugger awards, 2 Gold Glove awards, which means he wasn't really a great fielder. He had 1 batting title in 2003 when he batted .359 that season. He won a 2008 Roberto Clemente Award, which is basically a humanitarian award. And he's a 2-time World Series champion. Hold on one second. I'll be right back in a minute. Hold on. Hold on one second. How you like my avatar? Is it an interesting avatar? Funny way how to advertise his avatar. Ha ha ha. Okay, I'm back. So yeah. Also, Albert Pujols is one of 4 players in Major League history with 3,000 hits and 600 home runs. The other 3 players are very significant, and also all 3 of them should be in the Hall of Fame. Well, 2 of them are. 1 should be. Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, and A-Rod. He's the only one out of the 4 that has multiple World Series titles because he has 2. And what else? Albert Pujols has 14 seasons of 30-plus home runs, tied for 3rd most all time. He led the National League in OPS plus 4 times. This is a man who only 2 seasons only struck out more than 76 times, which was in 2001, 2013, which is amazing because I think it was all the baseball players only struck out like 200 times already. So, it's just fascinating to me. He's also one of 2 players with 600-plus home runs who also won the Rookie of the Year and an MVP award. The other player, Willie Mays. So this man is very significant. And I can go on and on with the split careers he had. I can go on with that with my co-host, who I'm glad he's able to join us, the one and only Evan Hollywood, who's on this evening with us. How you doing?
I thought after that introduction, I thought you were talking about me after all those accolades.
Well, yeah.
When I didn't hear it was me, I got a little disappointed. OPS, I heard about the OPS and the home runs. I thought you were talking about me for a minute.
I didn't know you played professional baseball. I missed that. 41 years watching baseball, but yeah, right? I don't know if you were hearing a little bit, but I was just talking about how, last week, he got cut by the Angels, and I was saying, did they do it the right way and blah, blah, and I told everybody like a good radio host should check it out on the IA Network. I might repeat myself again, but I was also saying like, well, it's funny. Because not even a week or so later, the Dodgers claimed him, and he agreed to a deal with the Dodgers.
First bit back, base hit center field. Here comes a run.
But what's funny is that he got offered the same position as he was when he was on the Angels, a bench guy. It wasn't like, oh yeah, Albert, you're gonna be playing every day, or whatever. It's not like he's an American League team. He's on the National League team, the Dodgers.
How old is he now?
41.
I thought 41. He was older than that. Okay.
Yeah, he's 41 years old, yeah.
How old is Yadier Molina?
That's a good question. He actually came on a little later. He came on, I think, 3 or 4 years later after Pujols. Let me look that up. It's a good question. Yadier Molina, he's another few
because they said the other day that Yadier Molina has now appeared in more postseason games than anybody in history.
That's interesting because Pujols was there before him. As far as I remember,
but remember all those years Pujols and the Angels, they didn't make the playoffs like 5 or 6 straight years.
Well, that's true too. Because Molina,
he left St. Louis. Let me tell you something. He left St. Louis, and since he's been in the Angels, he could have had his numbers could have been way bigger. Yeah, because his numbers started dropping. With the Angels.
Well, let's be honest, right? And by the way, anybody doesn't know, it was 10 years ago this off season, later this year, he signed at the time, and I said it then, 10-year, $240 million deal, which was the last year was this year, and I even said it then that I think Albert made a mistake. And the reason why I said that was because he was on a great franchise. He's on a franchise where the fans don't really boo you. I mean, they're just happy that you're on there, that you're playing for them. The Cardinal fans, they're great fans, but they're the type of fans, they don't really like to boo you. They're one of those type of guys. They're like, come on, you can still do it. Where us in the Northeast, especially in New York, Boston or Philadelphia, you're not playing well, we're gonna let you know.
But you don't produce, you get booed.
You know what I mean? We don't sugarcoat things in the Northeast. But in the Midwest, they're more laid back, oh, it's okay, get them next time, buddy, and all this stuff.
Right.
But, but the thing is, I think a lot of it not that I know his personal business, I mean, let's be honest. You know, if I got offered 10 years, 240 million, you know, peace out. But you know,
right.
Certain, not the old saying, not all money is good money. At the time, after he won his second championship, because he won that year in 2011. After that, like you said, you made a good point. He went to the Angels. His career was going down, and the Angels have never been really in the playoffs as much as the Cardinals were. I mean, as you look, I have these stats right here in front of me. His career splits. I want you to take a listen at this. You know, with the Cardinals and the Angels, and it's funny that he was both on those franchises exactly 10 years, which is funny. So,
right
on the Cardinals, he played 1,705 games. He batted 328, which is awesome.
328.
Yeah, over 10 years with the Cardinals, 328. I mean, that's astounding, right? And
so he left the Cardinals at what, 31?
Yeah, he was about 30, 31 years old. Yeah, if you want to round it off, say 30, just to, you know, play devil's advocate.
Right.
But yeah, but still.
So that's the prime, pretty much the prime of his career.
Yeah, pretty much the prime of his career. And even at that time, when his last year with the Cardinals, his last few years wasn't as great as it was his first 8. So
right, he was starting to decline. He started to get some back injuries, and then some knee injuries. So he could really Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
He could really. He started losing like his knees. He started having back injuries. So his last couple of years, because wasn't as strong, but he was still hitting, 35, 40 home runs.
Yeah. And this, as I keep going here, as a Cardinal, he hit 445 home runs, and his OPS, which, if anybody doesn't know, that's on base percentage and slugging, it's 1.37. Now, his last 10 years with the Angels, from 2012 to this year, he played in 1,181 games, so not as much games as with the Cardinals. You know why? Because injuries. And his batting average went from 328 to 256 as an Angel. 256. So he was basically an all-nothing guy. Either you hit a home run or that's it. You know, he practically became Dave Kingman.
So he's now played in more games with the Angels than he did the Cardinals?
No, he played way more as a Cardinal. As a Cardinal, he played 1,705 games, as opposed to the Angels, he played 1,181 games.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so he played about, if you run it off, like 600 less games with the Angels. Then he only got 1,180 hits compared to the 2,073 hits with the Cardinals. He hit 222 home runs compared to the 445 with the Cardinals, and his OPS with the Angels was 758 compared to 1.037, which is a dramatic difference. So
wow.
It was, I knew it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't. I understand the money was there at the time. It was his first big time, free agent move. So but like I said, I don't know what the Cardinals offered at the time, or they didn't offer at all. They know they couldn't afford him. But I think it would have been better had he stayed a Cardinal. And like I was saying earlier, the Cardinals were one of the teams that were trying to claim him when he was put on waivers. I think that would have been a great send-off had somehow they made a deal, and he would have been a Cardinal to end his career this year. So what's funny, all through his career, and he's been very he gets pissed when this gets brought up, is that he's also one of those guys that gets put that stereotype as a steroid guy. A lot of people have said that he's had he must have taken steroids, he was during that era and blah blah blah, although it's never been proven. And I mean, to me, I don't know if he did or not. I'm not like 100% saying, oh no, there's no way he did, because he was, when he first came up, he wasn't as built as he was like the rest of his career. But he was very he would get very aggravated if someone brought up about the steroid issue. But other players have too, and then like a Ryan Braun and players like that, and Rafael Palmeiro, I did not do steroids. Or did not. And meanwhile, it was proven he did. So he could have been one of those guys, but I don't think he did. I'm gonna go on the side that he didn't do it. I don't think that's gonna affect his eligibility for being a first ballot Hall of Fame. Absolutely not, because that kind of died down a while ago. But it's just interesting, like I said, how he's okay being a bench guy with the Dodgers, but not with the Angels. And I think a lot of it had to do with he felt hurt with the Angels, and maybe he got humbled at the end. And he's like, you know what, I don't want to go out this way. I'll go with the Dodgers. That way, I'm just going cross town. I'm just going, 60 miles to LA from Anaheim to LA, and I'll go from there. And knowing him, he probably won't end his career yet. Maybe he'll somehow sign a 1-year deal with the Cardinals or something. I don't know. But if I were him, just after this year, you have nothing else to prove, man. Your career is one of the all-time greatest. Just know when to say, you know what, I'm gonna hang up my cleats. I'm done. I mean, that's my opinion. But you don't want to stay a little too long in the tooth. You don't want that to happen. So that's just what I'm saying when it comes to that. But in other news that this actually came out on the wire yesterday, and it is what I found out was that Marv Albert, after the coverage of the Eastern Conference Finals, because if anybody doesn't know, well, first of all, the NBA playoffs is starting this weekend. This week is starting the play-in games. I think tonight's one of the games. I think it's the Celtics and it's somebody. I forgot the Celtics and some other team. I forgot what team. But anyway, it was reported that after the TNT's coverage, which Marv Albert is the head play-by-play guy, he's going to retire after 10 billion years being in broadcasting. Now, here's a guy that needs no introduction. Marv Albert has been one of the greatest play-by-play guys of all time, especially when it comes to the NBA. Anybody that doesn't know, anybody that's from New York, everyone knows, he's done Knick games. He's definitely known as a Knick guy. He hasn't been with the Knicks in quite some time. That's how Mike Breen stepped in after the scandal that happened with the Biden issue. And look that up if you don't know, if you're too young to know. When he had some sort of woman issue, which I won't go into. But Marv Albert, history as a broadcaster. He was a Knick guy for a long time on the radio, on TV, on the MSG network for a lot of years with him and Walt Clyde Frazier. And then he went to, he did the NBA on NBC for the longest time until NBC lost that contract. And then he went to TNT, where he's been for 10 million years. He's done football. Anybody doesn't know, he's done NFL football. I remember when the NBC used to have the AFL, AFC, he used to do Jet games. He used to do play-by-play for the Jets on NBC. And he did great. He did baseball, which a lot of people don't know. It's been a long time since he's done baseball, but he did decent with that. But everybody knows, if you bring up Marv Albert's name, the first sport that's going to come up is basketball. Of course, one of the greatest moments of all time with his calls was that spectacular move by Michael Jordan in the NBA Finals, Game 2 in Chicago against the Los Angeles Lakers, with that reverse layup, one from the right hand to the left hand. Remember that? And a spectacular move by Michael Jordan. And, of course, his usual broadcasting tactics he used to use. Yes, it counts, and the foul. Yes, downtown. Yes, he's an iconic voice. He's one of the greats of all time. He's a fellow New Yorker. He's been around forever. I think he went to Syracuse for broadcasting, Syracuse University for broadcasting. So, the man is just unbelievable. And he's been broadcasting for a very, very long time. So congratulations to him. I don't know how old Marv Albert is. But Marv Albert's got to be at least in his I would say he's mid to late 70s at least. But it's your childhood is practically dead when Marv Albert's retiring. It's just amazing that the guy is just going off in the sunset. Now, wouldn't it be great if the Knicks would be in the Eastern Conference Finals? Which let's be honest. I don't think that's going to happen. And what a perfect segue, by the way, because anybody doesn't know, my Knicks are the number 4 seed of the Eastern Conference Finals. And I want to give kudos to the Knicks management, Wild West, Leon Rose, the Knicks president, Tom Thibodeau, who should be coach of the year. Nothing against what's his name? I can't believe I've got homeboy saying the former Knick who coaches the Suns, Phoenix Suns. But to me, Tom Thibodeau should be the coach of the year. I mean, if anything, Leon Rose deserves to be executive of the year. I mean, J.R. Randall, you got Randall, who's had, comeback player of the year, should be. You have Derrick Rose, who looks like his old self again. And you have, what's his name? I can't remember, I forgot his name. All these other guys, the rookie that we got a couple years ago in the draft, he's been playing outstanding. The whole team is, they're number 1 in the league in defense. They're going to be a tough out, the Knicks, but they've done an extraordinary job, with the exception of Jim Dolan being the owner. Now, to be fair, Jim Dolan has kept his mouth shut. Thankfully, he's been keeping his mouth shut. But in spite of Jim Dolan being the owner of the Knicks, the Knicks have been outstanding. I mean, their final record, 41-31, because they only played 72 games this season. They've done an outstanding job. No one in their right mind thought they would sniff 4, let alone be in the playoffs, period. No one even thought they would probably be in a play-in game. So for them to be the 4th overall seed in the Eastern Conference, and you have the Nets as number 2 seed, I mean, that's an outstanding, and especially having home court advantage in the first round against the Atlanta Hawks, who's the number 5th seed. That's an outstanding achievement. And they remind me of the Knicks of the early 90s when Pat Riley came around, or even a little bit, if you go back a little bit, a couple years earlier in the late 88, 89, 90, 90 was a different coach, but 88, 89, Rick Pitino was the coach at that time. A lot of people forget, he coached in the NBA, besides later on he coached the Celtics. But they were on their way up, Mark Jackson, Charles Oakley, Patrick Ewing and those guys. I mean, you had Dominique Wilkins's brother, I think Gerald Wilkins was his name. So, they remind me of that team right now because they don't have like a legitimate superstar, although Randall's been their main guy all year. But they remind me of that team when Pat Riley, took a year off after coaching the Showtime Lakers for all those years, and he did color analyst for 1 year in 90-91 season, and then he went with the Knicks from 91 through 95. That's what it reminds me right now. It reminds me of that Knicks team where they're on the come up. So to me, they're playing with the house money. I mean, now if they get swept, that's bad to me. But if they play like a full 7-game series and they're losing game 7 at home or something like that, I'm not gonna be like, oh man, what a terrible year, what a waste of opportunity. I'm not gonna go that far. I think it's an achievement that they made it this far, and if they get to the second round, it's gravy. I mean, then it's even more accolades. And Tom Thibodeau, I don't know his contract situation with the Knicks at the time when I found out during the season that he became a Knicks coach. The Knicks management, like I said, with the exception of James Dolan being the owner, have done a superb job, and they're playing with the house's money from here on out. But I would like to see at least, effort. I don't want them getting swept. I don't want like the 04 playoffs when they got swept by the Nets. But I want to see something. This will be the first time since 2013. Remember with the mixtape Knicks? Remember that? That was look what happened there, and they got beat by the Heat, if I'm not mistaken. So they barely won that first round. They almost choked that series to the Celtics. If anyone remembers that, they were up 3-0, lost 2 games in a row, and then they won that 6 game. Thankfully, that would have been amazing. But so we're playing with the house of money, and I'm glad Heaven's back in here if he's able to. I don't know if he can hear me or talk because he's a perfect segue. Yeah, so with your Lakers, the playing game is tomorrow night. Angel Santana, what's up? And hello, Angel Face too, in the chat room. So let me get your thoughts real quickly on the status of where they at, playing this playing game, and what your thoughts from here on out for your team, the Lakers.
I really don't like the playing. I was hoping to avoid a playing game, not because I believe that they, you have to remember a lot of people like, oh, they're gonna lose to the Warriors. Yeah, but you have to remember we got to lose twice. So even if we lose to the Warriors, we're gonna, we would never lose to the Warriors and the Grizzlies or the Warriors and the Spurs. Like so
yeah.
I honestly don't think they're even gonna lose to the Warriors, but the Warriors, of course, because of Steph Curry, are always dangerous. But where they are now, I'll tell you one thing. I'll tell you who gave me confidence. Who gave me more confidence than what I was a couple of days ago.
Who's that?
The Clippers. Because the Clippers
they
went and avoided playing the Lakers in the first round.
Yeah, that's
so I'm thinking, well, maybe we still are the favorites, because why would the Clippers, when LeBron is just coming off an injury, AD just coming off an injury, and we're struggling, we had to play all this to get to not be in the last hole, and here the Clippers are avoiding trying to play the Lakers the first round. So that made me say, hey, I guess people are still scared of us, because you would think that the Clippers would say, you know what? We didn't get you last year. We messed up. This is what we've been waiting for. They so-called put that team together to beat LeBron. So what difference does it make whether you play him first round, second round, or third round? Oh, because you're hoping someone picks him off before he gets to you, and you won't have to do it.
Exactly.
Well, guess what? That's not happening, because the only team that I was afraid of were the Clippers. And I was hoping that we didn't get the Clippers in the first round. And guess what happened? The Clippers let us off the hook. Now I feel as though if we play them in any round except the first, I feel as though we'll beat them.
I think so too.
You would figure the Clippers would have said, let's try to get them in the first round. They just played they played one extra game, maybe even two if we lose tomorrow. And they had to put 2 extra games on their body. So you would think that they would want to play Lakers, but they don't.
Yeah, and that tells me a lot. That means they're in their heads, and it's in their heads. And what makes it worse is that they are crosstown rivals. So for crosstown rival to do that, that's even worse. 10, even put 100 times worse. It's one thing if it was another Western Conference team, and of course they would play it off like, oh no, we didn't tank. Yes, you did. You gave up. You purposely lost the game because you didn't want to face the Lakers. And why wouldn't? I mean, a shark smells blood, right? To me, if a shark smells blood, they go for the kill, right? So you would think, hey, we're the Clippers. We got Kawhi Leonard and all these other guys.
You got Kawhi, and you got Ty Lue, who should know LeBron better than anybody. You got Ty Lue. You went and got Rondo, who was instrumental, right? And the Lakers winning last year. You got our point guard, who was our point guard last year. You got him on your team this year. And then you went and got Kawhi Leonard and Paul George so you can have perimeter defenders to defend against the perimeter. And then even after you get all that, you go out there and you don't let your starters play 2 games. And then down the stretch of those games, you're running like the stupidest plays, trying not to get buckets. So they could say what they want. They could say they would just protect their players just to get them healthy. No, you were trying to avoid the Lakers.
Yep.
And now you did it. Now I hope to God either they get picked off before they get to Lakers, which will be hilarious. Or once we finally meet them, we put them out of their misery, because I'm tired of hearing about, if the Clippers would have made it, this would have happened. If the Clippers would have only wanted to be in the bubble, hey, that's not our problem.
Yeah, well, guess what? But you know what's funny now? Because of what they did, that psychological, mental aspect gets reversed.
Right.
If the Lakers know that the Clippers are next, they're the ones that are going to be the sharks smelling blood. Yep. Except, you know what's the difference? They're going to go for the kill. They're not going to be like, oh, we can't beat them. Where before, right, if they would have faced the first round, psychologically, be, oh, man, it's going to be a tough game. I mean, not that they were going to say, they're never going to say, oh, yeah, we have no chance. They'll never admit that. But, right, oh, man, it's going to be tough. You know, we're going to, but now they did this move. You know, LeBron and AD are cracking up. They're like, oh, we got them.
Same old, let's say, the same old Clippers. So even with the injuries, they're afraid of us.
Yeah, even with the injuries, think about that. Let, as you would say, let that sink in. Even with the injuries, they're like,
this is the longest injury LeBron James has ever been out of basketball. This is the longest time he's ever been out of basketball. This is the time, and he's 30, what, 8?
And older. Yeah. And still, he puts that fear.
He puts that fear in people.
but good old Clippers, you know.
I think now, I think if we get into the playoffs, which I'm pretty sure we will, I think we'll definitely be in the Western Conference Finals. Now, even though we won it last year, we didn't have to go to the Clippers, but most of the games that we've played against the Clippers, I have not liked the way we look. LeBron, I think he's had one good game when he was out of 4, because we played the 2 last year.
Yeah.
And then during the regular season. No, we played 4 times last year during the regular season. And or 3 times, and it ended up 2-2 or something like that. But the 4th time was during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And a couple of times, the Lakers had to come back, and Caldwell Pope hit not Caldwell Pope. Avery Bradley hit like 8 threes one game, and we barely won. So stuff like that, I was like, I don't like the way they looked against the Clippers, because I just don't like the matchup. Yeah. But now, like I said, so when we get to the finals, if the Clippers are looking like they have in a regular season, I might be a little skeptical. But the Clippers, when the bright lights get bright and the shorts get tight, what are the Clippers gonna do? That's the whole thing.
Are you gonna be burnt?
What are the Clippers going to do when the lights get the brightest?
That's when you know who's in that elite level. That's what I'm talking about. Because what's funny, although LeBron has had those bad moments, he's also had great moments.
Some great moments. And one thing that's going to happen is he's not, whether he makes the shot, missed the shot, he's not going to be afraid of the moment. He's always going to make the right basketball play, which a lot of people hate. Like a lot of most people want him to be Jordan, Kobe, like no matter what, Iverson, like no matter what, I don't care whether it's a good shot or a bad shot, but I'm going to take the shot. You know what I mean? So that's what they want with him. But LeBron is not that type of player. LeBron's always going to be pass first. He's going to be about making the right basketball play. And his thing is, if I find you wide open, do your job. That's why you're out there.
That's right.
So if I drive into the paint and they double team me and I'm able to kick it to you in your spot, like he did Kyle Korver that year, and you brick it, I'm of course going to get the blame for it.
Sure.
I'm going to get the blame for it, but I'm going to make the right basketball play. So I believe they'll go to the Western Conference Finals. Like I said, I don't like the fact that Rondo is now on the Clippers. I don't like the fact that Ty Lue has he's coached LeBron. But I would have felt much more scared if the Clippers would have tried to get the Lakers and we just didn't get the 6th seed. Because then I'd be like, oh, man, they want the Lakers. Like, they really want to play us. Now, I'm like, they don't want no smoke. So,
no, they don't want the Lakers smoke. They don't want that purple and gold smoke. No, they don't. They don't want it. They don't want it at all.
And over in the East, I feel as though if the Brooklyn Nets are healthy, they should be in the finals. There should be no excuse for the Brooklyn Nets. I don't want to hear about Giannis. I want to hear about Embiid. That's only one player. These dudes have 3 Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
And I don't count Blake Griffin as a Hall of Famer. Blake Griffin's on the team. John J. Jordan's on the team. So, this team, if they're healthy, should be in the finals.
If they're healthy, and here's another thing, if they gel well together, because now it's the playoffs. They only played together only so much, not even 10 games or so. So a lot of people not really make a big deal, but I said, well, the playoffs is a different animal than the regular season.
That is true. That is true.
So we got to remember that you have now 3, alpha males in a sense, that now when the lights are as brightest, okay, what are we going to do? Where LeBron doesn't really do like that. Where they are like the type to be like, no, I want the ball. I'm going to get that shot. So I'm just saying, it's a big time possibility that could happen. And if it does, that could ruin their chances, and they might beat themselves. Although the Bucks have a chance to maybe upset them, or maybe the Sixers.
The Bucks have a chance, and I think the Bucks and Sixers have very good chances, and the reason why is that the Brooklyn Nets have nothing inside. They have no way to defend Embiid. They have no way to defend Giannis. And it proves when Giannis had played them this year, I think he's averaging like 40, 14, and 8 or something like that. Some crazy number that he's played the Nets 3 games this year or 4, and he's averaging 40. So they're going to have to deal with him. And I think they beat the Nets 3 out of 4 times or 2 out of 3 times, whatever. So they're going to have to deal with Giannis. And one thing that I do like. Who's not really afraid of the moment.
For a second.
I've lost heaven there for a second.
He's still online, but I think he's breaking up.
Yeah.
Doc Rivers. But he is going to be a Hall of Fame coach. So he's got championship pedigree. You got Embiid. You got Simmons. They were the number 1 seed. So those two I'm interested in seeing. But I fully expect if the Nets are healthy, they should at least be in the finals, I think. But it's going to be close. It's going to be interesting to see.
Now, besides the Clippers, well, it was the Clippers you were concerned until now, probably. Is there a team? Is there a team in the Western Conference that you might go, we might have trouble with them besides the Clippers? So you have to think about it.
Well, I don't think anybody wants to really. I'm not even sure who are the Nuggets even in it. Are they gonna give?
I don't think so.
Last year. They're not even in it this year.
I don't think so. Wes, by the way,
I haven't been keeping it.
Our producer, thank you so much. Yes, thanks for joining us. Yes, that's an excellent question. Excellent. I'm trying to look at the playoff bracket. By the way, since I have you on, Wes, do you like the playing game scenario?
I don't mind. I don't mind. It just brings more. I think it's really something that the NBA wanted to add. It's just like when after the strike in baseball and stuff, and stuff like that. Like they want to try to add something, or just like how remember when baseball? What did they add to the All-Star game?
That was stupid. They added
stupid.
Home field advantage for the World Series.
And stuff like that. But that was it was just. To me, it's just like a way of trying to get people back and interested in the game.
Yeah, they did that because of that time it ended at a tie, back in 2002, and they got embarrassed. It ended at a tie. Like, who cares? It's exhibition. Who gives a crap?
Exactly. So I think this is one of those type of moves. I think they're like, hey, let's do this to make it a little more interesting.
Yeah.
But baseball had added something like that too in their playoff thing, right? Remember they had added the like the 1 game playoff scenario.
That made it cool. Although I did like what they did last year temporarily, which they should have kept, which was the wild card was the best 2 out of 3 instead of 1 game. Although the 1 game makes it that March Madness type of feel to it.
Yeah.
But I kind of like 2 out of 3 only because, and especially when it's 162. Although last year was just 60, but at least make it 2 out of 3. But I mean, but it was interesting. By the way, the Nuggets are in the playoffs.
They are. Okay. Well, that's one that you don't really want to run into. They're pretty, they're always going to be a problem with the Joker and all of them.
Yeah, so it's just a matter of
whoever that guy is. What's his name? Is that his name? Joker.
Yeah, the Joker. He'll probably win the MVP. But the only thing about Denver is, the injury bug. No Jamal Murray this year, so I don't.
Oh, at all. Okay.
Right, he's out. Boston lost Jaylen Brown. He's out, so they're not going to do anything. It's all these injuries that just absolutely kill the season. But like I said, I think the Clippers should be ashamed of themselves. They had a chance. They had a chance that they sat and purposely lost the final 2 games, so there would be no way they could play the Lakers in the first round.
Exactly, but everybody, especially their so-called bandwagon fans that came out the woodworks, all of them want to say that the Lakers didn't want to play them, and they'll beat the Lakers. But y'all trying y'all best to get the Lakers out if you could before you even have a chance to play them. So, I mean, that ain't gonna happen. The Lakers are going to step up. I'm saying it right here and right now. They will beat Golden State. That's number one. They're gonna beat them. I think
Steph have
I think I'm gonna be honest with you. I think every blowout that the Lakers has had against every game against the Golden State, they've blown them out. But Steph is Steph. He's gonna do it, and everybody, LeBron being slick with his little words. I think we're playing, in my opinion, the MVP. He trying to. That's called respect and recruit.
Jordan would do it a different way. He would do like, oh, okay, Carmelo get MVP. Okay, that's okay. Wait till the finals. I'm gonna get the finals MVP and win the championship.
Yeah, that's what he would do. He look at.
He would never go out publicly and go, oh yeah, Carmelo is no way he'll do that.
Yeah, no, he wouldn't do that. And also he'll meet up with you before and take you out to dinner, and then kill you on the floor. He was like, oh no, you go out to dinner. Let's all meet out for dinner, and your money's no good with Jordan. He's gonna always pay for everything. Yeah, your money's no good with him.
Yeah, he got you right.
He got you. Next thing you know, it's just that harder. Like maybe I won't, especially back then how they played. So, maybe he won't knock me down when I come flying through the air to dunk the ball. That's why I used to take out Charles Oakley and take out. But Oakley didn't fall for it though. Oakley still knocked him on his behind.
Oakley was fearless, man. He didn't get nobody. Yeah,
because he knew Jordan. He knew the tactics. He used to play with him. Yeah. He knew the tactics. He knew what Jordan was doing. Who used to fall for it? Unfortunately, Patrick Ewing used to fall for it.
Yeah, every time. Yeah, I thought you were my friend. It's like, but that's when before the ball's tipped off, dummy. Idiot. I mean, it's the oldest trick in the book. I don't know if you remember this story back in the days of Lawrence Taylor, with the Giants, but when the visiting team used to come, to New York, New Jersey area, he would take them out, they would do things.
Yeah.
Have a little party.
Do things, bad things, baby. Yeah.
And then Sunday, and of course the game's a Sunday game. It's a day game, and then he would just kill Joe Jaworski and kill everybody. Get 10 million sacks. The rest is history. The oldest trick in the book. Hey, buddy. I mean, not to say.
And Ewan falls for it with Jordan. He fell for it with Jordan.
Yeah. I mean, of course, Ewing, great player. Don't get me wrong, but that's why, his greatest thing he always said, and it was the curse. See you Sunday. Oh, here we go. That see you Sunday. Every time he would say see you Sunday when it was a game 7, they would lose. You Sunday. Oh, here we go. We're gonna lose.
Oh, Jesus. I think we got him back. I think we got him back.
Oh, yeah. What should we do? By the way, since we all with Avatar, I finally got my avatar, so we can do the avatar thing for a second. So now we go all avatared up.
We're all avatared up.
Yeah, we're avatared up. We're talking about the movie. Yeah. So
yeah,
I didn't want that wet crap. Yeah.
I'm looking at that. A couple of other tidbits before we get to some stuff. Week 4, Tom Brady's going to return back to New England.
Oh yeah,
to beat up on Belichick. I can't wait to see that game.
Yeah, I want to comment on that. My as you know, your nephew, my son, he's a big Patriot fan, and he sent me a screenshot of the nosebleed ticket seats going at like $1,200 for that game. I'm talking nosebleed seats for that game.
Now, and let me tell you, a tidbit about this. And that Brady knows this, and he's going to try to time it.
Yep.
So last year, he averaged about 289 passing yards a game.
Wow.
If he does that in the first 3 games of the season, he will be on pace, game 4 in New England, to pass Drew Brees for the all-time passing yards in NFL history. He wants to do it.
Oh, wow.
He wants to do it. And and remember, Drew Brees retired. So if he does that, if he averages, Brady knows that in the first 3 games, he's going to try to come out, get like 300. So then that last game, he'll only need about 250 passing yards. And I'm telling you, he's got that on his calendar. He's already got that marked down, that he wants to break. He can break the all-time passing yards record in New England week 4. He's like 1,100. He's like 1,100 yards away.
Not just in New England. In New England against New England.
Yep.
In New England.
Against New England.
In New England.
Against the guy who pretty much said, "We don't want you here anymore. You're washed up. We don't want you here anymore."
It's gonna be like
I'll do you one better, brother. He will do that. Not that he wants to do it. I'm telling you right now, he will do it.
He's gonna do it.
It will happen. And knowing Brady, it will be a play where it beats the Patriots to get that mark.
Right.
It'll be a winning touchdown or something.
Right.
Exactly. I'm signing up for that right now.
What game is that? What game is that? Game 4?
Game 4.
Yeah, week 4.
Game 4. Game 4 in New England.
So all he needs is about 300 yards a game.
Right. They said if he averages 289, if he averages what he did last year. So if he could throw for average of 289 the first 3 games, and then he'll be on pace to do it game 4.
That
would be hilarious.
I would love it. I would love it. The dark side of me saying yes, please. I would eat that up. But that's what I want. Not only for him to do it there, but a play that would stick a dagger that they would lose. He beats them, and on the play he did it, that's when he breaks the record. Oh, I would love that. Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
What else we got?
By the way, real quick, what are your thoughts of Marv Albert retiring after the Eastern Conference Finals coverage?
Yeah, man. It just brings everything in perspective. I remember Marv Albert since I was a kid.
Yep.
He's a part of my childhood because I was in love with baseball for many years of my childhood, and that's all I did was eat, sleep, and think, dream baseball every day. When I played it, I had my if I wasn't playing baseball, I had my baseball cards. So I was looking at them with my baseball cards. So everything was about baseball. So and Marv was a big part of baseball back then, and then he moved from baseball to basketball pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And, he's had his hands in all the sports.
And football. He's done football. He used to do when NBA. I mean, excuse me. When NFL had NBC had the NFL, he used to do the Jet games on NBC back in those days.
So congratulations to Marv. Also, very tough weekend for me. I couldn't watch the ceremony. Congratulations to Kobe Bean.
We have to talk about that.
Congratulations to Kobe Bean for the Hall of Fame. And I couldn't even watch it.
Heart-wrenching, man. Heart-wrenching.
It's just still surreal to me a lot of times.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't mean to change the subject, but I'm just gonna read they have they're home for the Cowboys, Buccaneers. I had to come back with this.
Let's go to TV and not Tampa Bay, Tom Brady. Okay.
Right. I know Tom Brady.
Tampa Bay.
So their first game is home with the Cowboys, right? Because they only play 3 preseason games, I guess.
We know we all hate the Cowboys, but go ahead.
Home for the Cowboys, home for the Falcons, and then they're at the Rams. That's the game 3. It's gonna be a tough game, but I think he's gonna get the 300 yards each game, and then he'll be set up to do it. And then he's at the Patriots. So
I hope so.
I think he's gonna do it. He's gonna do it.
That'd be good.
But you know what? I can see him. Let's say, okay, one of those games he don't get like 300. I can see him going to Foxborough and throw for over 400.
Right. If he needs 400 yards, I can see him doing it.
Because he be so motivated.
If he knows he needs 400, I'm telling you, he's gonna do it.
He has that same mentality like Jordan. You give him motivation, that's all he needs. That's all he needs. He got the motivation and talent. Forget it.
Well, yeah, I mean, he definitely got the talent over there, and they motivate him. I mean, he motivates them. So they're gonna want to get it for him.
Oh yeah, they love him. So why can you not?
Congratulations across to the big fundamental Tim Duncan, the big ticket, the big everybody. The big ticket got in.
Tim Duncan, yeah. Great player, but very boring for a guy.
Right to Hall of Fame. So congratulations to them. So next year,
great class.
Next year, Paul Pierce will be in.
Kevin Garnett.
Yeah, Kevin Garnett got in this year, and so did Kobe and Duncan.
Yeah, that was the 2020 class. And then with the 2021, you got Paul Pierce, The Truth, who's in. Ben Wallace. Who am I missing? Oh, Chris Webber. He's in it.
Yeah, he should. Yep, Chris Webber.
Him and Jalen kind of publicly buried the hatchet.
Oh, did they?
Nice. Yeah. Yep, I think they did it at the ceremony.
Interesting.
Probably after he saw it.
Or right after.
Maybe. Oh, probably after he saw Jalen's emotional thing with his mom. And, of course, Jalen, even though they was going through it, Jalen Rose never hated him. He always said Chris Webber's a Hall of Famer, like, even though they were going through it. So that'd be nice to see. And but let's quickly.
And by the way, another player that everyone forgets, Chris Bosh, is going to be inducted in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, boy. Chris Bosh, I'm sorry. Everybody's saying he should be a Hall of Famer. He's a 10-time All-Star. He's just, blah, blah, blah. I get it. And he's got what, 2 championships? I just never thought of him as a Hall of Famer. But when you look at his numbers, I guess he is, because before he went to LeBron, he was what, 20-10? That was his average.
Yeah,
there's guys that's not even 20-10 that's in the Hall of Fame.
Not complaining, but
and he's got 2 rings. So
wonder why.
I know he was the third wheel. I just don't think of him. I don't even think Ben Wallace is Hall of Fame, but he's gonna probably get in.
Yeah. I mean, you can make an argument.
He's like a poor man's Rodman.
Yeah, or like Rodman.
Great defender. What he averaged, like 2 points a game. Like, I'm sorry. I just Dennis Rodman to me should be the only guy.
He's an exception.
That is a straight defender, because only because Dennis Rodman he just interrupted the game so many different ways. Mentally, defense,
physically,
right? Mentally, physically, could guard all positions. So, Ben Wallace couldn't guard no guards. Rodman was fast enough to guard guards. So
he used to get every rebound. He don't care. He'll dive in a crowd. He don't care.
Speaking of big boys, really quickly, I just want to touch on this before we get out of here. Have you had a chance to see any of this Kwame Brown videos?
I briefly went through it, but didn't get a chance to see the comments.
When you get a chance, I'll tell you the backstory. That's my thing.
Yeah, this is your expertise.
Right, this is my stuff segment. So listen, it's stuff and it's still sports.
That's right.
So the thing is, Kwame Brown, as we all know, has been a long time meme and punchline. He's the worst number 1 pick ever. Michael Jordan's biggest mistake. Blah blah blah. Because remember, Michael Jordan, his very first pick as a executive of Washington Wizards, he picked Kwame Brown. Right, Kwame Brown was a first-time pick, and that was so-called the reason why Jordan came back to play.
Gotcha.
Right, picking Kwame Brown. So Kwame Brown didn't pan out, and he's not the. Let's stop this notion that Kwame Brown's like the only first-round pick that never panned out. Sam Bowie didn't pan out. Greg Oden was a first-round. There's been plenty of first-round number 1 overall picks that didn't work, that didn't pan out. Mm. So he's been this ongoing punchline.
Mm.
Now, Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes, they run a podcast.
Okay.
All right, we know who Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes is.
Definitely Matt Barnes. Yeah.
Right. They run a podcast and called All the Smoke.
Yeah.
So how it started was, I think Rachel Nichols was on. Rachel Nichols, the instant starter, the fire starter. Rachel Nichols is on there, and they interview and they bring up something. Somehow or another, Kwame Brown gets brought up.
Okay.
And I think maybe Matt Barnes was like in the back tapping Steven Jackson, like, oh, they're talking about Kwame Brown, right? Something like that. So Kwame Brown must have peeped that. And then when they brought Gilbert Arenas on, who also used to be a teammate of Kwame Brown.
No, not.
Gilbert was talking about, Kwame and the other. So then Steven Jackson's like, oh yeah, Matt said that Kwame Brown was the best number 1 overall pick ever. He's trying to throw shade. No, I'm saying that's what Matt was saying. He said he's like the best of all time, the best number 1 pick ever. So Matt is like, they're like laughing or whatever. Kwame Brown, who I didn't even know could talk. He played 12 years in the NBA. I've never seen this dude talk.
He's always a mute.
Right, he's always a mute. But did he got a hold of that microphone?
Yeah, he wouldn't let it go. He wouldn't let it go.
He let loose.
He went down the line. He went down the line on
down the line.
He just
it was like
you
remember Tupac at the end to hit him up when he's talking. Oh yeah, Mobb Deep.
That's pretty much what
you should have put the hit him up music behind that.
Now I'm gonna tell you this though. Out of all, and I'll let you finish, but out of all of the stuff that he said, the part that I think resonates with people, and it probably resonated with every ball player on this planet, is when he compared it to a fraternity. He said, "This will be the fraternity, man. And you're not supposed to." He basically said, "You're not supposed to get out of basketball, go into journalism, and be like the ones that's never played basketball."
Right.
You know what I mean?
Releasing stories and secrets. You know, just like how Steven Jackson was on there talking, telling all these things about Tony Parker that nobody would have known. You know, he's talking about Tony Parker was sleeping with this one's wife and sleeping with that one's wife. You're not supposed to be going out and saying those things, that happen in the locker room or whatever. And Steven Jackson's going on a podcast and talking about it, like on the air. So that's pretty much what Kwame Brown was talking about. And he said the part that resonated with me is, he said, y'all are black men and y'all getting paid to talk about black men.
Yep. That's what he said. He said, you the right type of person that they want to put in place.
Right. He said, you the right type of N-word that these whiteys want up there. Because they paying you to talk about another black male. He said, think about that. That's what y'all doing. That's what we doing. He said, you come on here, you always got some black male's name in your mouth. And he said, and it figures you go on to your white mammy, Rachel Nichols. He said, you go to your white mammy, Rachel Nichols.
The funniest thing is, in between all of that, he's smoking on a hookah.
Yeah, a hookah.
He just keep taking a pull of a hookah.
And he said, he called Matt Barnes. He said, see, it's always you old light-skinned N-words that always want to be down.
Oh, here we go.
He said, ain't dark enough, and it ain't dark enough to hang with the black crowd, and you ain't white enough to hang with the white crowd. So you would walk around just angry. He said, nigga like you with curly hair, you need to be acting like Drake and taking somebody's girl instead you getting your girl taken.
Yeah, he's just wild.
He went down the Derek Fisher. He went down the Derek Fisher line. Oh my God.
He went on everybody.
Man. He said talking about something. And then you want to act like you don't know what's going on. Talking about, I was taking my son to the game. I don't even know what he's talking about. You lucky Derek wasn't taking your son to the game.
Wow.
And then he said, you walk around here like you was a star. You old role-playing MF. Oh, my God. Yo, this dude went in. But the biggest point that I liked from that was... And he got on Stephen A. Smith too. He said, you want to talk? He said, you was the main one that started all of Kwame with that Kwame Brown. He said, didn't you used to play basketball? My career was better than yours.
Good point.
He said, you want to call somebody a scrub, but you didn't even make the NBA.
He didn't. Nope.
Right. He said, out of all these people who try out for the NBA, the few guys that make it, nobody's a bust. He said, now, is there different levels once you get to the NBA? Of course. But if I make it to, how you going to call a man a bust that was able to buy his mama a house on a golf course at 18 years old?
Yeah, well, from that standpoint, you know what he's talking about, and that it kind of compares to what Chris Carter always says about when you make it in the NFL. Like he used to always say that he doesn't like to call NFL players bums or whatever the case. Scrubs. He said because it takes so it's so hard and it's so competitive to even make it in the NFL.
Yeah.
If you even make it in the NFL, you are not a scrub. You know,
Right.
and we talked about that too with basketball. How many times have we said, I don't care, some of the best street basketball players you've ever seen, they can't beat the 12th man on
a basketball team. Yeah.
They can't beat them because if they could, they'd be the 12th man on the bench and not in the street.
Right.
At the Rucker or anything else. Because don't let these N-words fool you. These motherfuckers, they would love to be making millions of dollars, not at the Rucker. You know what I mean? So let's be honest.
You know, I know a lot of people were saying, "Oh, well, but he was a scrub. This another. He was a bust." I said,
"And
but
you beat him?"
I said, right. My point is what he was saying about Steven Jackson when he said, "And you want to sit up here." He said, "See, y'all are the worst type of N-words. Y'all act like you for black people." He said, but you really ain't. You up here getting paid to down black men. That's all y'all ever do." He said, "I don't never see y'all talking about no white boys like that." He said, they pay you to get on this air and denigrate black males.
Shots fired.
He said, "That make you feel good." He told Stephen A. Smith, "You came at me. I was a teenager." He said, "You're old." He said he called his old ugly bald headed. He said, "You coming on it?" He said, "I'm telling you." He said, I wish we could go to Seattle or somewhere where combat is legal. I'll slap you so hard. I'll slap that hairline to the front of your head. I'll slap you so hard." He said,
"Yeah, Lord, yeah." I think that's the most Kwame Brown has said. He said more in that for whatever 10 minutes, and he said his whole career as far as like speaking. I don't think I've ever heard him speak.
Well, he did that for the perfect time.
Yeah, he said, "Y'all, y'all letting Rachel Nichols trick you into responding." He said, "I ain't never said nothing to none of y'all." And he said, "And Gilbert, you know I ain't got nothing to say to you." He said, "We all know what you about. You the perfect one for them white folks." He said, you the blackest or you the whitest black person I know." He said, "So you perfect for the job you doing." Oh man, he really said that. He told Steven Jackson.
He's viral. He went viral.
Yeah,
it's like viral. Everyone's
he
talking
told
about.
Steven Jackson. He said, "You and me definitely on the same level. You coming on the air, rag on your head, pants hanging off your ass. You 44 years old, got your pants hanging off your ass. Do rag on your head when you talking." He said, "Please." He said, "You going out there?" He said, "Me and you was in the league, getting your teeth knocked out your mouth, fighting all up in the stands." He said, "Please, we ain't on the same level, boy." He said, "Oh man, the things he was saying."
You gotta really, everybody gotta check that out. I mean, if you haven't seen it yet, it's just going viral. It's just he really went in. He went down the line.
And he then when they came when Matt Barnes tried to come back with still come back throwing shade. I really don't understand. What he said. I really didn't say anything about instead of being mad at me, maybe you should be mad at MJ for picking you first. See, he picked you number one, so maybe you should be mad at MJ. Still throwing shots. And he said, "I'm 20 years removed from the number one pick. When is this basketball joke gonna be over?" Right? He said, "That's all you got is jokes for me about basketball. I got jokes about your soft punk ass life." And he said, "That's why." He said, "All you do is go on ESPN and run your mouth. That's probably why your ex-wife left you for Derek, because you talk too damn much." He said, "And you beating her in front of the mirror, trying to look prettier than her."
I mean, I can truly say, like he went, like he could have been at Def Comedy Jam, snapping on people in the front row,
Yeah,
like he was going down the line, and he had something interesting to say about every single one
about
of them.
everybody,
and he wasn't trying to be funny. He wasn't trying to be funny.
The
He was
jokes are
going.
just extra, but the underlying stuff, when you think about it, like, you know what? They are talking about black men. They're being chatty patties. You ain't even talking about the game half the time. You talking about the men playing the game. Well, so I can see if you want to say, oh, this guy he missed that shot in a clutch spot. Oh, he turned the ball over. Yeah, that was a crucial play. He said, y'all are talking about black men. That's all you do. All day long. It's talk about black men.
It's funny because even the times when I have first take on my DVR, I run through it real quick just in case, because certain topics they bring up, I go, okay, I'm not gonna watch this. This is stupid.
Right.
You know, it's not like, you know, how like what we do. It's like stupid stuff like, yeah, you know, what do you think about this dude and what do you think about this guy? And it's like, okay, you know, it's like, well, who cares?
Right.
You know, but it's true though. So some of those topics they bring up, and you know, and you have the token white guy with Max. You know, he's there.
Right. And he said but he really got on Stephen A. Smith. He said, "You old, oh man, you just have to go see it." Saying basically what everyone said about Stephen A. Smith. Calls him a coon, calls him a rich white man. You are the rich black N-word doing white man's work, and they hire you N-words because they can't get on here and talk about us. So they hire you dumb niggas for y'all can come and talk about it. Said because right now in America, white folks can't say nothing about black people right now. He said, so what do? They go hire you dumb N-words, have y'all come up on there and talk about us. Got a good point. Where's the lie?
And sit back and count the money.
Right. Then people wonder why people said, oh, there's so many black people on the air now. Where's most of them at? Talking about basketball.
Yeah.
They got the majority of them talking about basketball. So they could be the ones talking about all the players, bringing up.
That other basketball player that was OKC. Well, what's his name? I can't remember his name, but whatever.
Westbrook?
Yeah, not Westbrook. Who's on there now? You know, he had his new segment that came out today on First Take. What's his face? He comes in. Yeah. I think.
Who? Perk?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Perkins. So he's the new guy.
Yeah, Kendrick Perkins. And they got him on there. They be on there. Half of them ain't got no journalism skills. The first. Talking all crazy, talking with broken English, and I'm like, I'm sorry, Perk shouldn't be on TV.
No,
Perk should not be on TV. They want him in there as the big brolic bully black man.
Yeah,
the big like he was when he was playing. They got him acting on the air like he did on the court.
Yeah. True.
Coming through, always got a screw face. One go in. Here comes Perk. Something like but like Greeny, be here comes Perk. I'm afraid already. Stuff like that, making little underlined racist tone jokes like, they're afraid of Perk, big angry black Perkins. So. And of course, they're too dumb to see it. Everybody else take it as, look at all these opportunities the black men are getting.
Isn't this great?
Well,
that's what they do. They coddle these athletes, so they kiss their butt and they can have a job on ESPN. That's what they do.
Yeah,
it's like that great broadcast experience.
Anyway. I appreciate
that was some good stuff. That was some good stuff.
Oh yes, that was awesome.
Everybody go out and check that. I just want to make an announcement for you guys. While you're all on there, we're going to now. Everyone's listening. We're going to start our official IE Network giveaways. We'll start that officially next week. Everybody who is watches the shows, listens to the shows, you guys keep engaging. Put we're going to be doing giveaways. We're going to be doing contests where you guys can, comment and win stuff. So that's I just want to make sure you guys know that we're going to be starting that next week. I'm probably going to kick it off on Real Talk next Monday when we'll be back. We want people, we're doing a campaign. We want to reach 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We're halfway there. So we're gonna give out gift bags and prizes.
So give out gift bags like Derek Jeter.
Yeah, right, like Derek Jeter.
Gift bags, yeah.
Women. Yeah. So just to announce that, we're gonna be we're trying to. It's the road to 10K. Road to 10K. We got to make 10K subscribers. We're halfway there. We need 5,000 more subscribers to give away 5 gift bags. Yeah.
Gift bag, yeah.
I just wanted to say that. Stay tuned. We'll keep you posted because we're going to be doing separate giveaways on Real Talk, which will consist of movie-related stuff, and then we'll also do full IE Network giveaways, which consist of gift bags, gift cards, all types of things. Maybe even PS5s. I ain't promising that, but we're looking into it. But we're going to try to do some nice giveaways. All we want you, our listeners, to do is continue to listen, be engaging, and share our channel with people and try to get subscribers. Try to help us get subscribers. If you could do that, we will do the contest and you will win. We'll give stuff away, man. That's all I wanted to say.
Well, yeah. Well, thanks a lot. Well, Wes, you always doing your thing. You do an outstanding job, not only producing this show, but also doing your own show, Real Talk Monday nights, which comes on 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, exclusively here on the IE Network. A lot of people in my chat room were missing you, by the way, especially Joseph Tanner. It's like, where were you?
Yeah. Apologize for that. We'll be back next week. We'll be unraveling the Mount Rushmore. We also have a new segment we're going to start doing called Movie Rewind, which we'll be doing. The Movie Rewind will be us taking a film. We'll probably do it maybe once every month. We'll take a classic film and we will review it. So we're gonna so we'll take a classic film that some of you may have seen, most of you may or may not have seen, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna pick a film for that month. A classic film. We're going to rewatch it and re-review it and give our reviews on it. So we're calling that our classic movie rewind of the month. So that's what we'll start doing that as well. Yeah, man, that's pretty much it. So I'll let you take it away and take it out.
Yes, that's awesome. Thank you for that outstanding announcement. That is very interesting and very informative. And we can't wait to get that started this coming Monday. Yes, so please tell a friend and tell another friend and tell a whole bunch of other friends and be prepared and watch the IE Network exclusively here on YouTube. That's right. And by the way, you want to check out any of these shows we got on here. We got a lot of content. That's right, content. That's why I said content on this great channel of ours, the IE Network. You can go anytime by going youtube.com/IE Network TV. And you click on there and you can, on the search box, where that goes and where that is. And you can catch anytime, any of the Real Talk shows you miss, any of the Benchwarmers podcast shows you miss, any of Block TV. Shout out to Lex out there, by the way, doing her thing, doing an outstanding job. Also, the Heaven Hollywood Experience that usually comes on Saturday nights, late Saturday nights with Heaven Hollywood, of course, my co-host. He'll be doing his thing. and a whole bunch of video uploads when it talks about as far as the entertainment business that goes behind the scenes when it comes to Tay. So with that, and plus many more things coming up down the pike, as they say. So this channel is just gonna keep on growing and growing until it's gonna be humongous, and I have no doubt about that. So with that being said, thank you for watching another exciting edition of the Benchwarmers podcast. Thanks to my co-host Evan Hollywood for his contributions as always. He's always does an outstanding job. Also, speaking of outstanding, shout out to my producer and host of Real Talk, Wes Clark, for doing his thing. Always doing his thing. The man is like an octopus. He does multiple things, wearing multiple hats. So thank you for doing your thing also, as well as Heaven, of course, the Clock Brothers representing. And of course, thank you all for listening. Thank you all in the chat room, by the way. Miss Char, Joseph Tanner, Angel Face, a whole bunch of all the others. I mean, so many names here. I'll be here all day, but I'll be all night. But without you, there is no us. So thank you all for your support. Just continue with supporting us. And like I said, just like, comment, subscribe to IE Network. And yeah, with that being said, I'm going to head off into the IE Network Horizon. So with that being said, have a good night, everybody. Be good and have a great weekend. And as I always say to y'all, when I get to this point at the end of the show, I say this to y'all. Ladies and tomatoes, peace.